South Africa is cutting power to its cities for 12 hours a day. Its ports are so dysfunctional that ships wait weeks to unload. Its railways are being stripped for scrap metal faster than they can be repaired. Murder rates have reached levels not seen since apartheid. And here's the part nobody's talking about. This isn't temporary. This is the systematic unraveling of Africa's most advanced economy, already past the point of no return. The numbers are catastrophic. Youth unemployment at 61%. Government debt doubled in a decade. Mining production collapsing by 23% year on year. 800,000 skilled professionals have fled. The state power company burns through 24 billion rand in emergency diesel just to keep the lights on for hours. But here's what should terrify global markets. South Africa controls the Cape shipping route that 30,000 vessels depend on annually. It holds 90% of the world's platinum reserves, critical for the green energy transition. When South Africa collapses, it reshapes global supply chains and geopolitical alignments. The African National Congress just lost power for the first time in 30 years. Not because of ideology, but because the country is literally falling apart. What we're witnessing isn't decline, it's demolition. I'm James Whitfield from Faultline Economics. While others chase headlines, we examine the systems that actually shape history: geography, demographics, and economic fundamentals. Today, we're analyzing South Africa's structural collapse. This is strategic clarity in a complex world. South Africa commands the southern tip of Africa, where the Atlantic meets the Indian Ocean. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange manages $1.3 trillion in assets. Its ports handle not just South African trade, but 6 landlocked neighbors. This was supposed to be the African success story. Instead, we're watching real-time disintegration. Since 2008, the economy has grown at just 0.7% annually, while population expanded by 20%. South Africans are getting poorer every single year. GDP per capita crashed from $8,000 to $6,400. The country that once competed with Brazil now has a smaller economy than Egypt. Factor 1, the energy death spiral. Beyond the headlines, there are systems. And South Africa's energy system has entered complete failure. Load shedding became the defining feature of South African life. In 2023, power was cut on 335 days. At peak crisis, Stage 6 removed 6,000 megawatts, leaving cities without power for 12 hours daily. Here's what they won't tell you. Eskom operates at 58% capacity. Half its coal stations are broken. The company is 440 billion rand in debt. To avoid total grid collapse, it burns diesel at 6 times normal cost. The 2025 improvement? Fake stability bought with 24 billion rand of unsustainable spending. The Reserve Bank calculates load shedding cuts GDP growth by 3.2 percentage points annually. Manufacturing decimated. Mining operations shut down because you can't run deep mines without reliable power. This isn't incompetence. It's systematic looting. $2.2 billion in corruption at Eskom alone. Factor 2, logistical paralysis. The transport networks are experiencing simultaneous collapse. Transnet rail freight volumes crashed to 160 million tons. Criminal syndicates have stolen 1,000 kilometers of copper cable. They've literally ripped up the tracks. Locomotive availability fell to 40%. But here's where it gets interesting. The ports are worse. Durban is ranked 364th out of 370 global ports for efficiency. Ships wait 6 days just to berth. Container handling that takes 24 hours in Singapore takes 2 weeks in Durban. Let me show you exactly what this means. South Africa has vast chrome, manganese, iron ore deposits the world needs, but it can't get them to port. Mining companies lose billions while ore sits in stockpiles and ships wait offshore. The feedback loop is vicious. No power means reduced mining. Failed railways mean minerals can't reach ports. Broken ports mean ships go elsewhere. Lost export revenue means no money to fix infrastructure. Each failure amplifies the others. Factor 3. Demographic catastrophe. South Africa has the highest youth unemployment of any major economy, 61%. 6 out of 10 young South Africans have no job, no income, no future. The economy hasn't created net new jobs in over a decade. Now add this. 900,000 skilled professionals have emigrated since 2000. Engineers, doctors, IT specialists, anyone with portable skills is leaving. Emigration to Australia increased 190%. This changes the entire equation. You can't run sophisticated markets without analysts. You can't maintain power plants without engineers. The very people needed to fix the crisis are abandoning ship. If you're finding value in this analysis, subscribe to Faultline Economics. We decode the structural forces reshaping our world every week. Factor 4. Institutional collapse. State capture. $7 billion under investigation at 6 state companies. Transnet alone, $4 billion in suspicious contracts. The ANC implemented cadre deployment, appointing party loyalists regardless of competence. Water treatment plants run by people who don't understand chemistry. Power stations managed by politicians instead of engineers. 72% of municipalities are bankrupt. The 2024 election broke the ANC's monopoly. They won just 40%. But the coalition that replaced them combines centrists, populists, and Marxists who agree on nothing except that the status quo failed. But all of this hinges on one deciding factor: fiscal sustainability. Government debt exploded from 24% to 75% of GDP. The state spends more on interest than on health or education. When South Africa loses investment-grade status entirely, borrowing costs spike, the currency crashes, and the state faces an impossible choice: abandon the poor or abandon the infrastructure. What do you think happens when a nuclear-armed state with 63% poverty experiences systems failure? Can democracy survive when the lights don't work and youth have no jobs? Drop your analysis in the comments. The geopolitical implications extend beyond Africa. South Africa controls 90% of global platinum group metals, essential for catalytic converters and hydrogen fuel cells. Critical for the green transition. Russia and China are watching. South Africa joined BRICS, conducts naval exercises with Russia, and increasingly aligns anti-Western despite depending on European and American markets. A desperate, failing state with critical resources is exactly what Beijing and Moscow exploit. For deeper insight into how states unravel, I recommend How Democracies Die by Levitsky and Ziblatt. Get your free Audible trial through the link below. If current trajectories hold, South Africa's economy will be 40% smaller per capita by 2050. The formal sector will collapse, replaced by subsistence and grey market activity. The infrastructure will exist as partial ruins, like Detroit or Zimbabwe's factories. More likely, the country fragments before then. The Western Cape increasingly operates independently. Mining regions become corporate-controlled zones. Urban centers dissolve into disconnected neighborhoods with private security. The nation-state remains a legal fiction, but the territory becomes a patchwork of functional and failed zones. The future isn't written, but the blueprint is there for those who know how to read it. South Africa's blueprint shows every marker of state failure: energy collapse, infrastructure decay, capital flight, brain drain, fiscal crisis, institutional breakdown, all simultaneously creating cascading failures. The rainbow nation that emerged from apartheid with such hope is dying, not from external attack, but from corruption and the mathematics of dysfunction. When your best-case scenario is muddling through with 30% unemployment and regular blackouts, you're not describing a country with a future. You're documenting a collapse already in progress. If this analysis revealed something new, subscribe to Faultline Economics and hit the like button. And as always, stay strategic.